Backhand index pointing right, you are not alone, Jesus Christ Motivation Speech, Part 2. As you go deeper into this message, you begin to realize something powerful. You are not alone is not just about presence, it is about guidance. The teachings of Jesus Christ remind us that even when you don't know what to do next, there is still direction in your life. You may feel confused. You may feel like you don't have clear answers. But listen carefully. Backhand index pointing right, you are still being guided. My dear friends, many times we think we are lost just because we don't see the full path. But not seeing everything. Backhand index pointing right does not mean there is no way forward. You are not alone at this stage means you are not figuring everything out by yourself. You are learning through your experiences. You are growing through your challenges. You are being shaped step by step. Even your struggles are teaching you something. Backhand index pointing right, nothing is wasted. And this gives you hope. You don't panic when things are unclear. You don't lose control when life feels uncertain. Instead, backhand index pointing right, you stay patient. You take one step at a time. You trust the process. You keep moving forward, even without full clarity. At the same time, the message of Jesus Christ reminds you that guidance often comes quietly. Backhand index pointing right, not always in big signs, but in small steps forward. So don't feel lost. Don't feel abandoned. Keep going. Because when you truly understand, you are not alone. You don't feel confused or helpless. You move forward with patience, trust, and quiet confidence, knowing that even when the path is not fully visible, you are still being guided every step of the way. Backhand index pointing right, you are not alone, Jesus Christ Motivation Speech, Part 3. As you move forward, you begin to understand something even deeper. You are not alone is not just guidance, it is strength in your weakest moments. The teachings of Jesus Christ remind us that when you feel like giving up, that is exactly when you are being strengthened the most. You may feel tired. You may feel like you have no energy left. But still, backhand index pointing right, you are standing. My dear friends, this is where real strength is built. You don't realize it. But every hard moment you survive. Backhand index pointing right is making you stronger. You are not alone at this stage means you are being carried through your struggles. Even when you feel weak. Backhand index pointing right, you are not falling apart. Even when you feel lost. Backhand index pointing right, you are still moving forward. And this is powerful. Because now, backhand index pointing right, you stop underestimating yourself. You begin to see your own strength. You begin to trust your ability to handle life. You realize. Backhand index pointing right, I have made it through difficult times before. I can do it again. At the same time, the message of Jesus Christ reminds you that strength grows in hardship. Backhand index pointing right, the moments you think will break you are the ones that build you. So don't give up now. Don't lose hope. Keep going. Because when you truly understand, you are not alone. You don't feel weak in difficult times. You discover strength within, rising again and again with courage, resilience, and the confidence that you are supported through every challenge. Backhand index pointing right, you are not alone, Jesus Christ Motivation Speech, Part 4. As you go even deeper into this message, you discover something life-changing. You are not alone becomes peace in the middle of uncertainty. The teachings of Jesus Christ remind us that even when life feels unclear, you can still be calm inside. You may not know what will happen next. You may not see the full picture. But now, backhand index pointing right, you don't feel afraid all the time. My dear friends, this is where inner peace begins. You stop overthinking every situation. You stop worrying about every outcome. You stop trying to control everything. Instead, backhand index pointing right, you let go and trust. You are not alone at this stage means emotional calmness. You don't react to every problem. You don't panic in uncertainty. Because deep inside, you believe. Backhand index pointing right. I am not facing this alone. And this belief gives you stability. You become more patient. You become more focused. You become more confident in your journey. Even when things are unclear. Backhand index pointing right. You stay steady. At the same time, the message of Jesus Christ reminds you that peace comes from trust. Backhand index pointing right. When you truly trust, fear loses its control. So keep moving forward. Stay calm. Stay grounded. Because when you truly live, you are not alone. You don't get lost in fear or confusion. You move forward with peace, clarity, and quiet confidence, knowing that no matter what happens, you are supported and never truly alone. Backhand index pointing right. You are not alone. Jesus Christ Motivation Speech, Part 5. As you continue this journey, you begin to realize something even deeper. You are not alone becomes purpose and connection. The teachings of Jesus Christ remind us that your struggles are not only shaping you, they are also preparing you to understand and help others. You are no longer just thinking about your own pain. Backhand index pointing right. You begin to understand others' pain too. My dear friends, this is where your journey gains meaning. The loneliness you felt. The struggles you faced. Backhand index pointing right. They were not useless. They were preparing you. You are not alone. At this stage means your experience can help someone else. You become more compassionate. You become more patient. You become more understanding. And because of that, backhand index pointing right. You start lifting others. You encourage those who feel lost. You support those who feel alone. You guide those who are struggling. And this is powerful. Because now, backhand index pointing right. Your pain turns into purpose. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have everything figured out. Backhand index pointing right. Your journey is enough to inspire someone. At the same time, the message of Jesus Christ reminds you that strength is meant to be shared. Backhand index pointing right. What you go through can become someone else's hope. So keep going. Stay strong. Stay connected. Because when you truly live, you are not alone. You don't just overcome your own struggles. You become a source of strength, helping others feel supported, understood, and strong as they move forward in their own journey.